Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm showing off Recoil Master version 4.0. The last public video that is on my YouTube channel is for version 3.0, but I actually made a video after that, which was showing a lot of the issues that got fixed for 3.0. However, a couple of these videos were removed for copyright, I guess. I've tried to refute both of them, but you know how YouTube is. So that's not coming back, but I'm super excited to finally show you guys version 4.0 because there's a lot of stuff in version 4 that is just so much better than the last version. It's a lot less laggy, and there's so many new features that weren't there in previous versions, especially ones that people have been asking for. The download for this is actually going to be super straightforward. You can just find it at my new website, kypo.org. Give that a second here, and here we are. So you can actually find the download link for version 4.0 right here just on the website. There's also a bunch of links for obviously the YouTube channel. If you guys want to join the Discord server, there's a link to that, the TikTok, as well as the Buy Me a Coffee page. And I want to give a huge shout out to all the supporters that are on the Buy Me a Coffee page. You guys are making this possible. If you guys want access to updates before they come out, as you can see, the original version for 4.0 has been out for, looks like about 10 days now. I really appreciate everybody that's on here. It helps me out a ton, and it makes continuing updating this client possible. But anyways, on kypo.org, we're just gonna click download client, and that is of course going to take us to LootLink. I use LootLink just because it will play an ad or ask you to, it'll ask you if you wanna download something. Obviously, you never have to download any of the stuff that it is trying to get you to download. If it shows an ad, just close out of it. And if it wants you to do something, again, you just close out of it and then just wait for this timer to tick down to get to the actual download link. I just use this so that it'll play an ad. I do want to keep everything free as long as I can, so I really appreciate you guys for just skipping through that and getting straight to the download. But as you guys can see, this download's almost done. Once that timer is officially gone down, we can now unlock the content, and it might show you something like this, or it might redirect you. Just skip to the content, and that's going to take you to Recoil Master V4. It should be a Google Drive link, so if it's anything else, just go back and try it again. You guys know how it goes. All we have to do is come up here and click on the download button, and it says it can't scan it because it's too big, so just click download anyways here. All right. So as you can see, Recoil Master V4 finally downloaded. I'm just going to drag it to the desktop here. We just take the file and we can just pull out the exe. You can delete the zip if you want to, or keep it, whatever you want to do. But the exe is the actual client here. So I'm just going to go ahead and close out of this and double click on the client itself. So here we are in the client. Sometimes you'll have to double click when I first start. It's kind of finicky, but as you can see, it just looks a lot cleaner than the original one. Icons are a lot larger, easier to see. Of course, you can make the window smaller, bigger, whatever you want to do. You can manually get this blurry effect, so it's not using as much of your CPU. Whatever you want to do. Now we have separate tabs for attackers and defenders. So if I click on defenders, obviously it's going to switch over to all the defenders. Next update, I will put them in the correct order. Right now, they're just alphabetically, so sorry about that. But at least we now have two separate tabs, so you can find what you're looking for easier. So yeah, find an operator you want to use and click on it. As you can see, we now also have just a little reminder up here to show you which one you're using. You can get this to go away just by right-clicking anywhere. And then, of course, the custom crosshairs. We still have all of these ones, and you can click on whichever one you want to use. You can change the size and opacity just like the old version, but now you can also upload custom ones. So any PNG file, just click on it here, and it will load that into the client. You can change the size and opacity still for that custom one. So yeah, shout out to everybody on the Discord who has uploaded configurations for the client. We now have configs built into the client that you can use. If you have a weird sensitivity, if you make your own settings, you can always just save or load them here. The last thing that I'll just showcase real quick is the settings tab. You can now change the primary weapon hotkey, secondary hotkey, as well as the pause button. Just turning that off or turning on, and then this just enables or disables whether or not it's actually pulling your mouse down when you right click and left click at the same time. So if I press P right now, it doesn't do it at all, even when I'm clicking. And if I set this to like B, for example, and then I press B, as you can see, it works. So pretty cool. So some other settings real quick, we can mute or unmute the client. This just turns off all the sounds that it makes. Again, if those are annoying, you can just click it, unmute it, or mute it. There's a button here to reset all the operator settings, which will set all the values to 0 for every operator, as you can see there. So if you want a fresh start and you want to go through shooting range and set it up for every character in the game, you can just do that from here. So again, everybody has different sensitivity settings, different mouse DPI, so could be useful. One other thing is if you set the client to performance mode now, you can get the details on the background to go away. And when you restart the client, you can get that to come back. So yeah, that'll make everything lag just a little bit less if you're having an issue with that. Some of this stuff is still kind of glitchy, so keep that in mind. But one of the things that I did add was you can now change your Windows color from the client itself. So if I set this to a different color here, it's actually going to change the colors for all the windows and all the tabs and stuff. So again, this isn't really a useful utility, but it does kind of look cool. It makes everything look just a little better here and adds a little more customization to the client. If you don't like it, you can just set it back to white or black or whatever you had it on originally. And yeah, you can always do that as well. So I kind of like how the red looks, so I'm just going to keep it like that. And let me just load my save file here. And I'll just show you guys a little bit in game here. So I personally just like using either of these crosshairs right here. I'm using this smaller one. I just set the opacity all the way up when I'm using this one. And then I set it to maybe 30, 40, and then set the size a little lower. But again, like I showed you guys, you can also upload your own. This is my sensitivity 40/40, and for ADS 50/50. Ignore this one, I don't even use 3.5. Since I'm on the same character, it pulls it down pretty much perfectly just like that. And it's not perfect, which makes it a little harder for them to detect. I don't know if this is bannable or not. I really don't know. So stop asking in the comments. Use this at your own risk. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Here it is without it. As you can see, lots of recoil when I press the unpause button. As you can see, huge difference there. Again, if you do have a different sensitivity, you can always just come to the configs and see if any of these ones work for you. If not, you can just make your own, and I'll just show you how to do that real quick for an operator. So if you have a weird sensitivity or you just want to set everything up so that it works for you, just go to settings, click reset all. So what I'm going to do is just select an op that I want to make the settings for. Let's go with sledge here. And then here in the client, I'm just going to click on sledge. So what you're going to want to do is come up to the target bullseye, just put it right in the middle, and just see where that goes without moving your mouse at all, obviously. So as you can see, it goes pretty much straight up and then to the left just a tiny bit. So what we're going to do here is just go back to the client and see if we can get this to work. You're going to want to set the delay to something that isn't 0. I would just start with 0.0.24. This right here is the time in between each mouse movement, so just keep that in mind. So if I just set this to -4 and then we switch back to the game here and try this out, as you can see, it negates the recoil a little more, but not as much as we want it to. So we're going to set this all the way up to about -10. We'll just try that here. And then we're also going to change the X a little bit to negate the horizontal movement. So I'm just going to set this to 1. And as you can see, we have negated the horizontal movement, but it is just pulling down vertically way too much. So I'm going to set this to, let's try -7. And we're getting pretty close here. We'll try -6. So when it's pretty much all clumped together like that, you know you are pretty much good to go. I would just mess with the delay a little bit. And as you can see, it's pretty much negating all the recoil. One thing that I did say in the last video, if you're having issues with it moving too much horizontally, just put a compensator on your gun, and that's the easiest solution to that. Most operators have it, so just keep that in mind. Just use this if there's an op that you really want to play, but you know the recoil on that gun is like, crazy. So yeah, pretty much for the client, real quick, I'll show off the source code and I will link it in the description as well. If you guys don't really trust it, or whatever, you can actually package all the Python code into an exe yourself, or you can ask ChatGPT how to do that or look it up. It's pretty easy, straightforward. The reason that I made it an exe file is just because I turned it from a Python file, just a regular Python script, into an exe so that anybody can use it, whether or not they have Python installed on their computer. But here's the script right here. I'll just go over it real quick. So these are all the separate Python packages that are being imported. Not too many. This right here is the HTML URL. So that's right there. Here's the function for the save file, okay? And then this is the overlay. So not only the crosshair, but also that thing that pops up at the top when you change the operator. And then for the main logic, again, if you go through this, it's pretty readable, but here's the recoil control right here. So when this is called, we activate the mouse move function that's built into Windows. This is the X amount, and then this is going to be our Y amount, and all that does is uses the default Windows mouse event movement API call to just move your mouse. So yeah, if this isn't working for you, obviously just join the Discord. Again, just go to kypo.org, click the Discord link, and there's a support channel for any issues that you might have. So variable 1, 2, and 3 are just the X, Y, and the speed. So if you see that anywhere in the source code, that's what that is. Obviously, the WebSocket server literally just communicates between the HTML and the Python script. So when you're clicking on an op, it'll send a message over to the Python script, and that's all that does. And then we start everything right here at the bottom. That's about it. But yeah, so I mean, definitely check this out. Again, guys, if you want early access to any new updates or anything like that, check out the Buy Me a Coffee page. I'll link that in the description as well. Some of these were updated and posted, days before. So I appreciate everybody who is a member on here. Again, it does help me out a ton. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you do like content like this, go ahead, drop a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in future videos.